Welcome back to TECHMIMIC, where you can simply view, imitate, replicate, and get on with your day. As you have noticed, when you have a chat with, for example, ChatGPT, this will always be online, and all of the questions and data you share during the conversation will leave your computer, and they will end up somewhere on the World Wide Web. A viewer asked how to work with AI offline, so installing it locally, and then being able to have an AI conversation that is entirely offline. That's what we are looking at in this video, and it will be somewhat different to what you are maybe used to here on the channel. Because this one is not researched, recorded, then cut into pieces and then scripted. I'm going to do this live and we will just see how we get on. And do please let me know if you like this format or not. When people talk about offline AI, they usually mean running a model locally on your own machine, so no internet and no cloud dependency. And this can cover a lot of use cases depending on what you want. Think about a chatbot, text rewriting, coding assistance, image generation, speech recognition, etc. Because all of this doesn't require an online AI. The goal is to install LM Studio, have a first conversation, and then have a good look around the user interface to see what is possible. I've never worked with LM Studio before. It was suggested by a viewer, so I'm looking forward to this. It is always a good time when learning something new. This video will be applicable to all platforms, and I'm using Windows today, but there is no difference at all, besides the actual installation of the software itself, for the macOS or Linux versions of LM Studio. So why LM Studio and not something else, you might ask? You can think of LM Studio, I think the LM stands for language model, as a desktop application with a nice graphical user interface and an API layer, making local AI feel more like ChatGPT, but offline and under your control. It will download and run AI models locally for you, and this will become clear later on. Consider it an easier version of olama.cpp that is for people that know what they are doing. And I won't go into all the technical details regarding all the different possibilities, because first of all, I'm clearly not an expert on AI and I don't know what I'm doing. And second of all, it is just not needed to know all of this and enjoy offline AI. LM Studio offers you a nice and polished graphical user interface, no messing about in the terminal, and it just works. Some key points about LM Studio and why people like it. Offline AI, so once our model is downloaded, it runs entirely on your machine. Loads of AI models are supported, as we will look at shortly. The interface is a simple chat-style user interface, and it is cross-platform. It works on Linux, macOS, and Windows. Then by default, it comes with GPU or CPU support, so you can offload workloads to NVIDIA GPUs with CUDA or AMD GPUs with ROCm via Vulkan, or just use your local CPU. It is developer friendly, it comes with a local OpenAI compatible API server, and I suppose a developer will know what this means. The use cases we already discussed: chatbot assistance, text rewriting and spell checking, help with coding, research or summarization. It should be easier to use than llama.cpp from a terminal. No data leaves your computer, it is fully private, and you can very easily experiment with different AI models without setting up complicated environments. So let's get started. Open LM Studio's website, which is located at lmstudio.ai. You can't miss the main description of the product. Download and run models on your computer. Let me check if there's more on this page. Not really, just developer resources and then some links. I'm sure that if you click this download button, you will get to the other platforms. It appears that it has discovered that I'm on Windows, hence the download button, download for Windows. So let's check it. And indeed, here you can select macOS, Windows or Linux, and also the processor architecture required, and the specific version of LM Studio. Okay, so let's go back a page. And before we download, check out some more. There are 3 different versions of LM Studio, with Team and Enterprise being the paid versions, with no doubt more options than we need for personal use. The community version is what we need, and it will run the latest models on your own hardware, no login required, and data never leaves your device. It is marked as free for personal and even work use. Let's scroll down again. Some features are highlighted, and that's about it. Okay, clicking models opens up the model catalog, but we will get back here later. And Docs brings you to the documentation, where it is worth pointing out the About LM Studio section and the key functionality, including something called a hugging face. I'm not quite sure what that is. A dedicated system requirements section if you need more information, and let's check offline operation, and here it is explained what can be done offline, and this includes core functions like chatting, compared to operations that require internet connectivity like downloading a new model. I guess it's time to install it. So let me click the download for Windows button, and that will be about half a gigabyte. So back in a minute. Okay, the download is done. So let's click it to hopefully install it. Yes, there it is. Just install it like you install any other application on your specific operating system. 1.6 gigabytes will be required. So next. Okay, that's it. I'm provided with the option to run LM Studio straight away, but I won't do that. I want to check the icon that was added to the desktop. So double click, and that takes a bit more time. Waiting for the button. There it is. I can click get started, but I can also skip this. Let's not do that and go for a regular user, because clearly I am not a power user yet, let alone a developer. So user and continue. Nice. Let's get your first model. It appears it is suggesting OpenAI as my first model, and is the 20 gigabyte variant, implying that there are other variants. At the bottom I see enable local LLM service on login. This will be when you are sure you want to use this every time, so things are ready for you when you need them to. Okay, let's click the download button for 12.11 gigabytes of download. And there it goes. I can explore the app while the download is in progress. Well, let's not do that. Time to get some coffee. I'll be right back. Once the model is downloaded, the button Start a new chat becomes available. So let's have a chat. Maybe maximize the screen. It is asking for another chat. Let's not show this again and dismiss it. Okay, this interface looks fairly familiar to anyone that has ever used ChatGPT. I think that I'm ready to start, but just to test it out, I will close LM Studio again and then start it again. I just want to see if my settings are retained. And there it is again. Here at the top it is listed that we need to select a model to load, and of course at the moment there is just a model that we have installed and nothing else. Let's send a message to the model as it is suggesting, although at the top it is still listed that we need to select a model to load, but let's try it anyway. Well, hello there. Yeah, there it is. Load a model to send a message. Model loader, that's the same dialog, so I should be able to load it from here, maybe just by clicking it. And yes, that's it. The model is now loading. Okay, OpenAI GPT-OSS is now loaded. So try again. I will explain my intentions. It is thinking. And it is now basically explaining me what to do to reach that goal. So let's stop this. Let me test the AI by throwing some things at it. Let's see what it does. Yes, very good. Indeed, they are all fruits. And I'm even getting a breakdown of the nutrients, it appears. Oh, and a quick fun fact. We learn something every day. I assume we can edit this. And also copy text. And this reasoning effort button is interesting. I can specify different levels, low, medium, high. So I will tinker with that later on. Integrations, I suppose, is for power users. Now I want to test if it works offline. I'm currently connected to my network with a physical cable. So let's disable the Ethernet connection, or I could just, yank out the cable at the back of my computer. Ethernet 2 is for VirtualBox, so unrelated to this. Just ignore that. And indeed, the network icon is gone, and we are now completely offline. Time for another test, and I think it is going to take this literally. And yes, indeed, that's not what I meant. I meant the length, not a breakdown of the individual characters. I should have specified this. And yes, 59 characters indeed. And of course, always be kind to the robots whenever you leave. All of that was done offline, so let's go back online. And even when online, I've no doubt that the data won't be sent somewhere, because this all appears to be completely offline indeed. Okay, let's explore further. Here I can change the appearance. Sometimes I prefer dark mode or a larger font size. Back to the models. There's currently one model, and that one is loaded. And just like in ChatGPT, I can manage my conversations. I can rename them and delete them, for example. What is this at instructions, custom instruction? Oh, I guess that's also for power users. And also at the bottom, 3 different views: user, power user, and developer. And here I can find info about the version of LM Studio, report a bug, open the logs, etc. Maybe we can install another model by going back to the LM Studio's website and exploring the models. There's a lot. Let's select this one. Mistral AI's first reasoning model based on Mistral Small 3.1. Why not? Again, I have no clue what I'm doing here. Okay, that looks fine. Use model in LM Studio. Here we go. And I will allow this site to open LM Studio. I'm sure this can be done differently, but we will see about that later. And there it goes, another 14 gigabytes. Partial GPU offload possible, so this might be heavy. Time for more coffee. Be right back. And while we are waiting for this, if you found value in this video, please consider subscribing for more content like this. Thank you. Okay, the download is finished and I can click use in new chat or load model. Let's close it all down and go back to LM Studio. Nothing has changed here. Let's start it again. It's good to see that it has retained the old conversations, or conversation in this case. We need to select our model to load, so there should be 2 of them by now. And indeed, there are 2. Let's load a new one, Mistral AI. Okay, so it appears I can just continue my conversation, but this time with a new model, a so-called reasoning model. Let's give it something to chew on. Hello, and what model are you? Oh, this is interesting. I can see the actual reasoning of the AI. This is more than I need, but interesting nonetheless. And be polite again. And even for that reply, we can see its reasoning. Now a trick question, the current date. Now it shouldn't know this because this is offline, and I take it that it can't access my local hardware or the system clock. And indeed, I have a knowledge cutoff up to 2023-10-01. Okay, so that must be the information set it has learned. So let's stop this. And we switch back to the OpenAI model for a similar test. And of course, this loading takes some time every time. But if you open LM Studio in the morning and leave it running, and most likely you can configure this as some sort of auto start, this shouldn't be an issue. Just confirm it is loaded, and indeed it is. Maybe verify by asking. Yes, this is ChatGPT 4. What is this hourglass? Okay, I could have searched for and loaded the model straight from here, instead of going through the LM Studios website. Much easier. Let's say I want some generative AI, maybe search for it. Google Gemma 3N, multi-model AI model, not a clue. But I can click download straight from here, very convenient indeed. I can also manage the currently downloaded models straight from here. Let's check appearances again. I missed the view more in settings earlier on. Here I can set the interface language. Keyboard shortcuts and many other things by the look of it. That's enough for now. And just like a CD-ROM, eject the model from memory. Let me try to create a folder structure here and archive conversations. That works. And I can start a new one from here too. Okay, for the last trick question, this time for the OpenAI model instead of Mistral AI, let's ask for the current weather in Portland. And it should tell me no, because this is offline AI. As expected, luckily, I would say, it informs me that it doesn't have real-time internet access, and it provides me some alternatives instead. And I think I'm done playing around for now. Okay, so depending on the use case, code generation, generative AI images, with the correct model that is, text summary chatbots, or for privacy reasons alone, a local and offline AI model could be all you need. But of course, it will have its limitations. And once again, I hope you liked this more free-form format and style of video. That's it. Hope it helped. And if it did, please like the video and keep it up. Until next time. Bye!